Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Delisa Robinson, your favorite real estate diva out here in the real estate streets. It's a bit early for us, but I told you guys I have a lot to do today, so we had to go live early to finish session four. We're doing session four, which is goal setting for increased productivity and profits, especially the profits part, right? So far this week, we have discussed, talked about, got the math done, and everything else on our goal setting. And I want to just recap and before we get into this final session. So it won't take long. I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing. Okay. So for those of us who are in real estate and we have a hard time knowing what we should be doing, how we should be doing it, where we should be doing it, and things like that, what you want to do is set goals for yourself. You want to, anything you do, I don't care if you're buying houses and flipping houses, you have goals and time frames and milestones that you have to hit. Even if you are in a situation of wholesaling, real estate agent, if you're the developer, the contractor, anything you do in real estate, you have to have certain goals. You have to have certain systems in place. You have to have certain people in place. And you have to know exactly what you're going to do to have in place to get that done. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to wrap this whole thing up. We've talked about building teams, we've talked about productivity, we've talked about monetary goals, we've talked about a lot, system goals, and self care goals. Like the first day, we broke down my calendar. I broke down my calendar for you guys, and I told you guys how I operate between days, what I'm doing on certain days. You all know that today is one of those days that I play catch up. And this is why I'm doing this on a Saturday morning because I started the series a day later than I wanted to. So therefore, I have to do a catch up. If I was in my Get Wired wholesaling boot camp and I missed a Tuesday or a Thursday session, we would be on at 10 a.m. this morning getting that session made up. So today is like a makeup day for me. And then, of course, like every other woman in America, every other person in America, I should say, not woman, not just women, but you get up on a Saturday morning, you turn your music on, and you clean your house. So I got a lot of that to do today because we are purging 13 years of crap out of this house. So I'm going to not a minimalist, but what is necessary. If it's not necessary, I'm not keeping it. So that's who I am. For those of you, if this is your first time joining me, my name is Delisa Robinson. I am your favorite real estate diva out here in the real estate streets. Today, we're going to be talking about goal setting and how you can still accomplish some high goals by the end of this year just by putting some good goal setting and practices and systems in place. Okay. Now, we are simulcasting. I'm on IG. Hi, IG. And I am on Facebook and YouTube. So inside my Facebook group, the Hammers and Heels, we have a lot of good things going on. I go live and do trainings at least 2-3 times a week in that group. I also have a lot of good systems. I have a lot of good giveaways and information that if you check different sections of the group, like if you check the file section, if you check our event section, you'll see what's coming up, what we have going on. So if you haven't yet, click the link in my bio if you're on Instagram and join the Hammers and Heels Facebook group. Or you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel where we have a lot of video training. If you're looking for something quick action, go to the YouTube channel and get it really, really quick. Okay, so what have I done? I've been in this real estate game for about 25 years, not about, more than 25 years now. February 4th made 25 years I've been a real estate investor. I have a bachelor's degree. I do have a bachelor's degree in business with concentrations in marketing, advertising, and public relations. I also have extensive real estate background in the fact that I have bought and sold probably tens of millions of dollars of real estate over the course of that 25 years. I currently hold about $1 million in real estate right now because for some of you who might be Johnny come latelys or Sally come latelys, you don't know that I'm in the process of rebuilding my portfolio with new knowledge, new coaching, and also new structures in place. So I want to see how quickly I can revamp. So I liquidated everything after and during my divorce. And now we're starting with a clean slate and I want to start all over again. And you get to come along for the ride. I like it. I'm good with it. Okay. Now let's talk about our rules of engagement. Rules of engagement when you are on a live stream with me. Number one, if you hear something you don't quite understand, make sure you ask a question. Number two, if this is your first time, don't let it be your last time. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If you by any chance think, hey, you know what? My friend such and such needs this information, share this live out with at least 5 people and invite them in so we can all get this going. Now, in the meantime and in between time, what we're going to do is we're going to get this started because there's a lot to go over. The one thing I can tell you, I know I said I was going to show you my productivity spreadsheet that I use. However, the system is not systeming the correct way and it will not allow me to share. And that's the system of my simulcast. My simulcast system is not allowing me to share the information that I should be sharing. So what I'm going to do is if you are in the Hammers and Heels Facebook group, I will post my spreadsheet there. My tracker that I use, I will post it there. So before we get started, do the one thing that I need to do to test my delay. Can at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on each platform that I'm streaming on say good morning in the chat so I can test my delay? That's what I want to do, test my delay. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to give you some news and views that have come up recently. Number one, everybody's talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z buying the most expensive house in California. That's their business. I'm glad they did it. And you got to think, if Beyonce is scheduled to make $2.2 million on this tour that she's on, that $200 million is only 10% of what she's going to make. So she can afford it. Number two, another thing I ask you guys to do is this. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Make sure you are a part of the Hammers and Heels community, either on the email list or either on the email list, or if you're either on the email list or the text message list. If you can get on either one of those lists, you will be in for a big surprise. And I'm going to give you a touch of it now. I am hosting a free wholesale training. Now, let me get this clear and precise so you guys understand what that means. I usually charge about $497 for this one course. I am giving it away for free. I'm going to teach it live. However, you have to be a part of either the Hammers and Heels community, Black Women Investing in Real Estate, following me on Instagram, or following me on YouTube. That is the only way you will get the link, is to be a part of the Hammers and Heels community. All right. So for that is what I'm doing. No, your reparations question didn't throw me off, sir. I just feel like that's a personal thing and that's just in our community. And what I feel like this, I feel that any race or sector of the society that has been done wrong by I feel that anybody who's been done wrong by any governmental entity should be repaid for the wrong that they were done. Now, that's my stance on reparations. Now, if you want to break that down, do we deserve it? Yes. Now, here's the thing that I like to tell people. While you're waiting for your reparations, build your empire. There it is. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But thank you for bringing that question out. I appreciate you. Now, good morning, Teresa. How are you over there on Facebook and YouTube? Now, to get started in the goal setting, we talked about systems. We talked about admin goals. We talked about your productivity goals. We also talked about your acquisition goals, and we talked a lot about your monetary goals. Now today's session, we're going to wrap all that up together, and we're going to seal it up with a bow and a good kiss. All right. So let's get started on that. Now, When I say, we talked about my goal of, we said, I will make, remember I taught you guys how to write your goals the first day. I will make $100,000 wholesaling real estate from May 18th, which was May 18th, 2023, until June 18th, 2023. So that gives me 31 days to get $100,000 in assignment fees under contract, not properties. Because if I was just going to get a property under contract, guess what? The property I already got under contract will qualify me for that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your money, what you make. So we're going to do that. Okay. Now, we broke that down by day, which came up to be $3,400 a day for me. Also, we broke it down by how many number of deals I would need to get that done based on what my minimum assignment fee is. We also talked about who would have to help me, because when you are doing your goals, you have to set up a process, a system, an admin, and you have to let people know. You have to know the who, what, where, when, why, and how. What is my goal? What is the goal? To make $100,000. When? Between May 18th and June 18th. How? Wholesaling real estate. So there's the who, there's the what, there's the when, and there's the how. Now, who's going to help me achieve this goal? And what systems do I need in place to make it happen? So there it is. Who, what, where, when, and how. Okay. So now, who is going to help me accomplish this? How many homeowners do I need to talk to? How many letters do I need to send? How many text messages do I need to send? Do I need to be the one to send these out? No. You can acquire a team, which is your administration. These are the people who will assist you in getting and putting your systems into action so that you can get this done. That's what that is. Okay. Now, we talked about how I need 2 to 3 leads per week, which would lead to 10 to 12 leads for over the month. So if I have 10 to 12 leads and you say I convert 20% of them, that would be 6. At 12 leads, that would be 6 at 20%, right? Or something like that. Where'd my calculator go? Oh, it's right here. See, best friend. Okay, so we have 12 times 20%, which is, I'm sorry, it's 2.4. It's not. So it's 2.4. Might as well say you need 3 leads. So I need to convert 3 of them. If I'm going to convert 3 of those leads, then I'm going to have to make about $33,000 per lead. We know that's not always possible. So what you have to do is we broke that down into our goals of, wait, let me get it back to you. We broke it down in our goals where we said 10. We said I would need 10 goals. I would need 20 properties if I had 20. If I did it at $5,000, I would need 20 properties. If I had it at $10,000, I would need 10. If we did it at 15, I would need 7. So now we know I can't just call that minimum number. I have to double exactly what it is. I would have to break down the goals of how many. So if I had how many, if I'm doing $5,000 for my minimum assignment fee, I'm only doing 5. I'm doing 20. I need 20. I need to close or put under contract 20 properties. Okay. That might not be possible if I've hired a VA and she's only making 250 calls a day because she's only working 4 hours a day. I might need to increase the productivity on her, or I might need to add to what she's doing. So if my VA is only calling for 4 hours, do I pay her to work 8 hours a day now? Or do I start making phone calls in another market? Because maybe that market that she's in is not giving me the information that I need. So that's how you have to analyze your goals, and you have to go back through and reset and test. Each week, I have to reset. Because do I have any Buffalo deals? Yes, I do. I'll get back. I think you inboxed me late last night and I was already off the clock. So I saw it this morning, but I was getting ready for this. So I didn't have time to respond back to you. But yes, I do have some deals in Buffalo right now that are for sale. Now, inbox me what you're looking for. And what I do want to tell you guys is, see, things like that. Me live streaming is going to help me get to my goal. Just so you guys understand what it is. Now, you have to have under your admin goals, you're going to have things like who's on the team, who's working, who's helping, who's doing what. You're going to have that. If you don't, you're not going to be able to get I'm looking for my I can't find it. So I'll do this. Okay. So if you're do you have a website or something I can take a quick glance? Not at the current moment. I only have the rental properties on my website right now. Because I'm being honest, my wholesale deals, when I send them out to my email list, they don't last long. So I don't have a lot to put on there. So it would take, and I would be changing that every day on a wholesale side. So if you want, you can inbox me your email address. I'll add it to it, and I'll send you out a list this morning. Once this live stream is over, I'll send you a list of what I have. Okay. Now let's talk about systems. On my end, I have a system, and I just explained part of it to you. I'm a very busy person. We went over that on Monday. I gave you my entire schedule on Monday. So I don't have time, so I have to spend money. Remember, I said that to you. If I don't have time, I have to spend money. So I don't have time to make 250 phone calls a day. That's an 8-hour shift if you want to keep it real. Now, what you would do is I give that list to my VA. My system that I have in place is I use PropStream. I pull a list from PropStream. I send it to my skip tracer. My skip tracer will have it back to me within 24 to 48 hours. Then I send it over to my VA, who is basically my cold caller. Their job is to call the people on the list. Some properties have multiple phone numbers. That's their job. Call those properties on the list. You know what I do once a week? Or if I find some time throughout a day, I try to do it for 1 hour every day. I will print out on Sunday night, sometimes on Sunday when I'm feeling, like I want to do some work, I'll print out the whole list of emails. Not emails. I'll print the whole list of sellers, and I will get the letters ready. And on Monday, for an hour on a Monday, I might fold those letters, stuff them into an envelope, and handwrite the address on them. And on Wednesday, I might mail out a stack of letters. You see what I'm saying? That's where that happens at. So that's where I'm at with that. So what we do is, that's the system. That same list that the cold caller is calling, I will send letters on. That same list that the cold caller is calling, I might send a text blast on. Just because some people will talk to you more so through text because they don't want to be bothered with different people calling their phones. We all have that little feature on our phone that says about this mail. And forgot to put mine on do not disturb. Sorry guys. I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. So that's where we are with that. So so when you do that, you have to have that's my system to generate leads. That's called my lead generation system. If you are in real estate, you have to have a lead generation system, because a lot of people always ask me, how do you manage to do so much? How do you happen to have this going on? This is how I'm breaking it down. One of my systems, my lead generation system, this is what I do. I have a cold caller who calls. I have a text blast that I send out. I have letters that I send out. And I might be doing all three on the same information. Or if my VA is having luck with phone calls, I might pull a different list from a different market and send letters and send a text blast so that people know that I'm coming, or I'm in that area, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm interested. And that way, when my VA gets the call, like she might be working in Cleveland, and I might pull the Buffalo list. But the Buffalo list I pull for her, I might just send letters to that list. And then next week I give it to her and she can call it. Now it's not so much of a cold call. Now it's a warm call because they're like, wait a minute, I recognize this phone number because I saw it in this letter. And you probably saying, oh, ain't nobody open your letter. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I get plenty of phone calls on my letters. Plenty of phone calls on my letters. Why? Because they're handwritten. Not the letter, but the envelope. They're also very nicely colored. See? And I'll do this so you don't see it. See that? Pretty yellow. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. See that yellow envelope there? And on the other side, you see my handwritten note? Uh-huh. Don't play with me. I know what I'm doing out here in these streets. So my letters, my cards, they look like invitations. They look like birthday cards. They look like Valentine's and Christmas cards, Easter cards, or thinking of you cards. That's why they get opened. Y'all out here sending postcards. Don't nobody, you know what the people do with your postcard? They look at it like this way. I have one on my desk. That's why I'm looking. Let me see if I can find it. Because I have a property that somebody sends me a letter on at least once a week. And I throw it in garbage every single time. I don't even look at it. I say, oh, as soon as I see my property address on it, I throw it away. So you don't want to be in that process. So this is my lead generation system. Now, what happens when the lead comes in? Now it's an acquisition goal. Now that the lead turns into, once it turns into a lead, it goes into my acquisition system. Now, what do I do when that lead comes in? That lead comes in, it goes on a spreadsheet. And that's the spreadsheet I was supposed to show you guys. I'll put it in the Hammers and Hills group. You guys can go over there and look at it. You have to be a member. And yes, you have to answer all the questions in order to get approval to be a member. So might as well do what you're going to do. So then what I do is it becomes part of the acquisition system. So in my acquisitions, I'll put the name of the person. Let me see what I got on here. I have the date that I received the lead, the owner's name, their contact information, because now it's a lead. I have their direct phone number. I might have their direct email address. And then I'll put the property address, city, state, zip code, what they're asking, because that's part of my VA's job. She asks, well, how much do you want for the property? And they'll put in there how much they're asking. I put in there, how many units? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 200, whatever, how many units is it? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's the square footage of the building? See, this is things that you guys, a lot of you guys as wholesalers, you're not interested in all of this stuff. And that tells me you're not interested in having a sustainable business that's going to keep you in money, that's going to every day have you in some type of a conversation with somebody. And I remember somebody telling me to have $1 million conversations every day. And this is what I'm doing. I'm building up to $1 million conversation every day. Not that you're going to make $1 million on all of it, but you have a conversation. This is $1 million conversation because I'm giving you free information on how you can build $1 million empire. You can build 7 figures doing what I'm teaching you to do, just so you know. Okay. And then I put the square footage. Now, also on this spreadsheet, I put the ARV, after repair value. I use 70%. Keep in mind, and we learned this the other day, because remember, we talked to Ryan. Ryan said his lender gives him 90%. So if I'm presenting a deal to Ryan, I'm going to use 90% instead of 70%. If I'm presenting a deal to Mike, one of my other clients, I might be using 85%. Or I might be using 0 and just going with the comps and how much work I got to put into it, because he may be using his own cash. So it depends on what your buyer's situation is. What is the buyer going to say? What are they telling you? What's their lender criteria? What amount is their lender going to give them? So we know industry standard is 70%, which is why we have 70% in our formula. But guess what? My lender gives me 80. So if you're dealing with me, you're going to use 80%. If you're dealing with Ryan, you're going to use 90. If you're dealing with Mike, you might be using 0 because he's going to pay cash, or you might be using 80, 90%, depending on which lender he's dealing with. So you have to find out. That's why on the buyer's list, on that building your buyer's guide that I have out there, it says what lender do they use, what criteria do they use, what is your percentage, so you know when before you even call this person and say, hey, I got this property for you, do their numbers and call them, because they're going to ask you, because that's part of your job. Even though a lot of wholesalers feel like that's not their job, it is. It is. Okay. So you need to know. I also put the construction budget on here, but I have it at 50 or I have it at 25 for a cosmetic or a full gut rehab. And then I calculate the MAO. Then I put in what my assignment fee is going to be. It automatically calculates what my assignment is going to be based on my minimum sale price. So this is my lead sheet. Now, what I do is every month I transfer this spreadsheet to a new one, and then at the end of a quarter, I put in my numbers. Okay? This goes from here. So now if I'm talking to, and I'll use Sandra as an example because she's on here. If I talk to Sandra and I say, oh, her lead, we have that under contract, it now becomes a deal. And now it's a monetary goal. It hits my monetary system. Now it's part of my monetary goals. So you see how that goes from one to the other to the other. Now I also have on here acquisition goals, because I told you I want to acquire 5 Airbnbs by the end of this year, 5 additional Airbnbs by the end of this year. I also want to acquire 2 flips by the end of this year, but I also want to acquire some real estate to put in my cash flow buckets. Okay. So if I can get these real estate deals, and I said I want 20 doors. So that's duplexes, I need 10. Single families, I need 20. So you have to have all these acquisition goals and how you plan to acquire them. I want to do 20. I want to do 20 doors using seller financing. So seller financing is my focus. That doesn't mean if I get a good sub 2 deal, I'm not going to take it. That doesn't mean if I don't get, if I find a good lease option deal, I'm not going to do it. No, it just means my focus is seller financing, but I'm open to anything. But first, my $100,000 in wholesaling. So then you have to do, not only when you get to the $100,000, now you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do with this money? What are my goals? How am I going to break that down? And that's what we're going to talk about in our next series. Actually, once you start hitting your goals and you're starting to make the money, what are you going to do with it? How do you break this down? How do you report this on your taxes? So I might be going live with Lanisha, the numbers girl, and we're going to be talking about how do you break this real estate money down? What accounts should you have open so that you can do all this business? Because remember, I told you guys a long time ago, I don't coach people to smash and grab. I coach people to build real estate investment businesses so that they can if they start out wholesaling, they can take their wholesaling money and they can generate something else. If they start out Airbnb, they might start out with Airbnb arbitrage, but after 3-4 months, they might have enough for the down payment on the home that they want to purchase to Airbnb. So I even help with that transition. Okay. So that's where we are, and that's how you wrap all this up. And I'm glad you guys were able to join me today. Don't forget, I am going to be live for the next series. I don't know if we're going to do that particular session next, or if I'm going to go into acquisitions. And I think I'm going to go into acquisitions because a lot of people have hit me up and asked me how do they acquire properties with little to no money out of pocket. So we might be doing that next. That might be more of what everybody is looking for. So in the meantime, between time, look out for the announcement for the free wholesaling course that I'm going to be doing. Look out for the link for our 12-week real estate academy. The 12-week real estate blueprint is coming up. It starts July 5th. We're going to be talking about short-term goals, long-term goals, as far as short-term rentals and long-term rentals, and building your portfolios from that list. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're also going to be talking about the hold on, because we wrote this out. Y'all know I go to my notes when I get stumbled. I want to make sure you guys know what's going on. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the mindset of a real estate investor. We're going to talk about goal setting, which we did here, but we're going to go in depth because we're going to be on a Zoom call. You guys are going to be able to see my screens. You guys are going to get the trackers, and everything else that I'm using. We're going to talk about how to build a short-term portfolio, how to build a long-term portfolio. I'm going to have somebody coming in and speaking to you about business credit and how to acquire it, what you need to have it done. We're going to be talking about systems that you need in place if you want to do Airbnb or if you want a long-term tenant portfolio. We're going to be talking about acquisitions, financials, business setups, automations. We even have a book that we're going to read during this process. We're going to be meeting once or twice a week, and we're going to create your specific plan. At the end of this 12 weeks, I'm excited to say you should have at least one property, if not more. Okay, so we're going to get into it fast, and we're going to get into it deep, and we're going to be in there and just letting you know exactly what it is that you're going to do. So that is getting ready to come out. The link, I think that will be ready to roll out on. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you. I think we're going to have the 12-week Real Estate Academy is going to get rolled out, I think, on Tuesday, the 23rd. Tuesday the 23rd. It might be Monday. I'm sorry. It's Monday. Monday, the 21st, the 22nd. We'll have all that information ready for you, ready to go, and you'll be able to register. The cost of the program normally, excuse me, I'm sorry. Normally, the cost of the program would be $1,497 for a 12-week program. However, for this one, I am doing $497. If you get in quick, if you register this week, it'll be $497. And we do have Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirms for those who might need payment plans. So that's that. Do you mind if you DM me when done? Thanks, so you can tell me more. Isaac, DM me your information and we can go from there. Okay, so that is what we'll be doing there. And like I said, I'll also be doing the free wholesaling class is going to be on May 31st. May 31st. It'll also be me kicking off my 7 days before my birthday. Because my birthday is on June 5th. So we're going to have a party every day, y'all. Just so y'all know. Parties every day. Party every day. And for those of you who don't get it, yeah, I celebrate. I'm one of those people that celebrate. I'm one of those people that celebrates every day, the whole month. I am one of those people. I celebrate the entire month of June. I have things planned out that I have to do the entire month of June. Next year, I'm going to start a new tradition where I take the month of June off. That's what I'm going to do next year, starting next year. But this year, I got a lot to do, so I can't do it. So thank you, and don't forget to do so. Okay, you're going to be DMing me, so I don't know what you're telling me that don't forget to do so. Anywho, Beyond Blessed Mom, thank you for joining us. So that's how you organize your goals. Your goals, first of all, you have a lead generation system. That's the main system you need. Then you're going to have an acquisitions system or a contracting system or a liquidation system. You have to have all of this in place in order for your goals to work. Okay. So and if you don't have a team in place, don't stress. You don't need one right away. If you don't have money to get PropStream, you don't need one right away. Anyone in real estate does need a lead generation system. So how you generate with no money and no PropStream, no Landglide, no Deal Machine, none of those, no Core, no Coastal and all this other stuff, you foot to ground. and you walk these streets and you drive around in your car and you get people and you advertise and you check Zillow and you check Facebook Marketplace and you go on Craigslist and you go through every single person and you call and you make phone calls and you send letters and you do what you need to do. When you don't have any money, you have to have a lot of time. And if you don't have the time, then you need to invest money. That's just how it is. I don't care who you talk to in the real estate space. I don't care what guru, duru, or no-ru that you talk to. They're all going to tell you that one particular thing. I don't care who you are. We all have that in common. If you don't have any money, you're going to have some time. And then don't forget what I told you guys in the very beginning, the exercise I did with my intern. If you think you don't have any money, I want you to start thinking about ways that you can make the money. What resources do you have at your disposal that you could actually get the money? So that's what we're going to work on. All right. So that's my time. Thank you for coming out for this series. We are done. We are over it. And we are going to be going into some other things. Like I said, creative finance strategies and the different ways. We're going to talk about the different ways that you can make money in this real estate space, in this real estate process. Okay. So we will be going from, we already did mindset. We already did goal setting. So we're going to be talking about how to build a short-term portfolio over the next series. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.